Ciudad Juarez is modernizing at a very, very fast pace. For decades, our city grew outwards, a horizontal sprawl of maquiladoras and residential areas. But today, the growth is becoming vertical. High glass towers are rising all around the city. My name is Ruben Campos, and I'm going to talk about vertical gentrification and the housing crisis. While these towers symbolize modern progress to some, for the city professionals, for the average maquiladora worker, they represent a glass mirror, a reflection of a lifestyle that is visible but unreachable. However, this vertical gentrification is different from traditional gentrification. Unlike the traditional gentrification that we know that displaces residents from old neighborhoods, this is a creation of new islands of luxury, of exclusivity. These apartments are not targeted for the average maquiladora worker, the average professional. These apartments, these buildings are targeted for real estate speculators, for real estate companies, and for the transnational professionals who cross every day to work at El Paso, but they live in Juarez due to the lower cost of living. However, the irony here is that those buildings are not being used by young adults who are just beginning their professional lives or by families who just want to settle down and use them as their homes. Instead, they're being used as vertical bank accounts. They serve as high rise investments, being held by real estate investors hoping that the prices will rise one day so they can list them or sell them for a profit. This speculative boom drives up land values all across the city, creating a domino effect that makes even the most modest houses skyrocket. Even the houses in the peripheries, in the areas that are not centric, are skyrocketing right now, all due to the gentrification in Ciudad Juarez. However, things can change. The gentrification and the housing crisis shouldn't be a problem or a barrier for the city. However, multiple solutions need to be applied to tackle down this problem. First, we need a vacancy tax to avoid real estate investors from keeping those units empty while people are struggling to find a house or an apartment. Second, we need to regulate the price. The government needs to do it because those prices are not realistic, are unaffordable for 90 to 95% of the city's population. And third and last, we need to implement public transport near those high density areas because the avenues next to those buildings are already at the edge of collapse. If there isn't a change in the way that we move people, those avenues, those arteries are going to collapse under the weight of traffic. As a Juarez resident, I know that this trend of Juarez doesn't lie in the height of its glass towers or the profits of real estate speculators. It lies in the resilience of the workers and their families who keep the city alive. A city shouldn't be a luxury commodity. It should be a home. Let's build a future where Juarez belongs to the people who give it life, not just the highest bidder.